Hello everyone, welcome to another video with Cass on the Maizuma channel. So today I'm here to show you my pumpkin and melon farm, which is a very nice design, very efficient. So let's turn it on and see how this works. It's already working. Yeah, the concept for this design was created around 1 year ago. I just learned that Cubfan actually built this design for the second time in Hermitcraft, which also makes me very, very happy. Today I want to do a tutorial for this because this design it can be a lot annoying to build if you don't have a plan. So I came up with a very easy way to build this thing. And if you need a design that works in Minecraft 1.12, but will also keep working in Minecraft 1.13 and 1.14 as well, because I was able to test this with the snapshots, you can check the links in the video description. There is a video there explaining how everything works. There is a map download and everything that you need, and that was all that I provided the first time I made this farm. If you're building this in Minecraft 1.13 and above, you can use the design that I'm going to do the tutorial for today. And because this new design is a lot cheaper and it's really easier to build, so this is the second reason. Okay, so quickly talking about the farm, the way it works is we have a large flooring here. This is just a 9x9 patch with only one water source in the middle, but this is just a repeatable pattern. Yeah. And you can expand it to be really, really large. Once again, this is all shown in my first video. You check the video description. Yeah, but really a small farm like this will produce a lot of items for you. And as you can see, the way it works is once a pumpkin or a melon grows in here, they get harvested immediately. As you can see here, it's really, really efficient. Everything gets stored. The items get on top of these lower farmland blocks. They get captured or sucked by the hoppers underneath it. You can also use minecarts underneath it if you think you can make it cheaper. The farm is really expensive, but of course it's very efficient. And yeah, you can send your items to your storage. And here I took this idea from Cubfan. I hooked the storage to this comparator here, and once the farm is full, it will automatically turn off, so it won't produce any more items. To start things off, we're going to make a 9x9 patch of dirt, like you see here. But once again, you can make it in any size you want. You can make it really giant farm as long as you can hydrate everything. Alright, so it's a 9x9 patch of dirt. In the center of everything, you can place a slab, and we can waterlog the slab so it has water now. And from here, if you count 4 blocks, you're going to get to any of the edges. Pick any corner of your choice and start hoeing the floor, and we're going to make a alternating pattern. So in the end, this is going to look like a chessboard pattern, and around the water source is a good place for you to check if everything's going right. Now we're going to use a little trick in here. In all of those dirt blocks, you're going to place one piece of redstone dust. Yeah, you can replace it with something that's going to be breakable. You can even use pumpkins if you want, but I like to use redstone dust because it doesn't have a hitbox, so it doesn't prevent me from moving around. And when you're done, this is how it should look like. Time to plant your seeds. So I like to start with pumpkin because I want more pumpkins than I want melons. So I do one row of pumpkins and then I switch to melons. And so melons in here, pumpkins now, and then you keep doing this. So melons, and in the middle, if you do everything right, it's going to be pumpkins again, and do this for the entire thing. So now comes the difficult part of the build, which I tried my best to make easy. So from your floor, you're going to build 4 blocks up a ceiling, just like you see in here, and it's a glass ceiling. This is optional, but if you do it, it's going to be very easy for you. You don't need to use the colors, but I'm using the colors here to explain what we're going to do here. So as you can see, we have a kind of zigzag pattern here with the yellow glass blocks, and they follow this way. And we're going to place a few observers in here, and you will hopefully be able to catch the pattern because it's going to be easy. So on the first block at the corner, place a observer block in here, and then skip 3 blocks, another one, skip 3 more, another one, skip 3, another one, and keep following this path 3, another one, 1, 2, 3, another one, 1, 2, 3, another one, and you will see the pattern that will form in the end. There are many different ways of looking at it, so hopefully this will all be clear to you. So skip 3 again. So we're almost at the end of this, and this is how it looks in the end. So very much orderly placed. So you can look at it as the path that it is, a zigzag pattern, or you can look at it as a bunch of diagonal patterns that you can see in here. So look at the diagonals. They are also straight lines if this is easier for you to follow. Okay, this part should be also easy enough. What we're going to do now is to reclaim some glass. So every other block that is not an observer is going to be replaced by an upside down piston. Easier done than said. So here we're going to have a piston, and then skip one block, place another piston, and then this would be not a piston, then a piston, not a piston, then a piston. And in the end, what we're going to have is a checkerboard pattern of upside down pistons, where all of the observers that you have already placed are going to be preserved. This is what it looks like from above. So yes, a checkerboard pattern of pistons, and yeah, where we were able to preserve every observer that we've placed previously. Okay, so now we're gonna grab, this part's really easy as well, we're gonna grab hoppers and place those underneath the hoppers. Well, they are actually the only places where it makes sense to place the hoppers for this build at least. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. So your next step is going to be to place slime blocks under all of those pistons. So once again, another checkerboard pattern that we're going to build, and yeah, this shouldn't be too difficult. And in the end, the only thing you can never see is something like this. The slime blocks are not supposed to merge in any way, like straight lines like this in any way. So make sure to preserve the checkerboard pattern. So as you can see, visibility is not the best from up here at this point. And now you need really to make sure that all of those spots are covered, especially if you are building this in a very large farm in survival. But once you're done with that, it's time to do the last step that we're going to do from inside the farm. So when you see a stem, you place a jack-o'-lantern on top, or can because some of them are not going to have the hopper on top, so you place jack-o'-lanterns. And when you see redstone dust, you aim at the redstone dust and you place an observer so that it faces up, right? So I can actually place all of them first, and then I can just aim at the observer. So yeah, you're going to do an alternating pattern like this, and in this case we need the jack-o'-lantern because it's a light source block that this guy needs. That's not going to interfere with its growth, and it's not going to get dragged by the slime blocks. Okay, so what you can do now is to just place more in here, and now you do 2 layers of observer blocks. Every time, make sure that they are all facing up. You don't want to do this step twice. Okay, cover all of those. So now it's time to do jack-o'-lanterns again. Okay, and then place more observers. So yeah, you get the gist of it. So yeah, keep doing that, pay attention to every step, and do it all over. And this is it, guys. This is how it looks like when it's all done. You can go at lower ground to look up and make sure that all of the observers are facing up. If any of them are missing or not facing up, just fix it now. Later it's going to be a little bit more annoying. So now it's time to work at the top here, and we're going to do something really easy, but you need to pay attention to only one detail. We're going to pretty much cover this floor with note blocks, except for a few spots. But you need to pay attention to the pattern that we're building in here. The pattern is the star that you see here. The star is the observer in the center and the 4 pistons that it's going to power. It does this because it powers this block at the center, but it can also power those blocks and send updates to the pistons down there. So this is what you need to understand. This is a star. This is how 2 stars look when they're side by side with each other. So once you understand these patterns that we're going to use in the next step, you just need to cover everything except with note blocks, except where you see glass blocks. So if you see glass, you don't place a note block. If you don't see glass, you place a note block. Next step. All right, remember the stars I mentioned before? yeah, we're going to place observers on top of those. So you can clearly see this in here. For instance, you can maybe try to use the diagonal patterns that I mentioned before and just place more observers on top of those. And when in doubt, for instance, you can break the node block and you will see that the places where you have your observer are places where we already have observers. So yeah, this is how you can tell. This is what it's supposed to look like in the end. So now all you have to do is to place solid blocks on top of those node blocks. For practical reasons, I will cover the entire floor because this is just going to make the next step even easier. All right, this is your new working floor. This is the corner for reference. And now we need to place another layer of redstone dust. They're going to form the stars, which means that pretty much we're going to do the checkerboard pattern once again. If this is a little bit confusing to you, you can already skip to the next step, which is to cover every observer with solid blocks like this. But in the end, you will end up needing more observer blocks in here. So it will all end up as a checkerboard pattern anyways. But the difference is now where you see a hole, you place redstone dust, and it should be really easy to check on everything in the end. So yeah, let's just finish this. All right, I'm using different colors in here just to make things clear because this is a tutorial, but you can see that underneath the blue blocks there's nothing really, and the blocks that are not blue, they have the observers underneath them. So for instance, this block's not going to get powered and power anything around it because it's just a placeholder for now. And at this point, your farm is actually ready to work. And one of the things you can do to test it, for instance, is to, I think I powered or did something with the redstone dust, and then it already worked. Okay, so what we're going to do now is the storage system, and then we're going to hook the storage system to a line that powers the entire farm and stops it when the storage system is full. In my case, I just want to place one chest in here, and remember the collection system is flexible. You can do it in whatever way you want. In my survival map I have an iron farm, so I don't mind doing things like this. So I can basically just do a hopper line going like so, and then I can do alternating hopper lines that cover all of the floor in here. Extend those like so. And here all you need to do now is to account for the checkerboard pattern. So you can see that, well, this row is pretty much covered, but the next row, the first block's dirt, and the next one needs a hopper. So it's going to be this block in here. So I just need to place a hopper facing this way. And since this is going to alternate, I can save a little bit on resources. So I need to get used to the hitbox with the new update for the hoppers. Okay, you can at any time check, so you can see that we have a hopper here, so we expect this to be dirt and this one to be farmland. So climb up here and this one is dirt, the next one is farmland. So you just have to keep repeating this pattern in here. Once again, if you want to use a minecart, go ahead, use a minecart, no problem there. You are probably going to have to hook this up, to have to hook the minecart up to a timer system, or you can try to pull off some trick, I don't know, like the redstone dots that you see here, they are going to give away redstone signals, and you can maybe try to use those redstone signals to send the minecart down here on demand. I don't recommend doing that in any case, but if you want to, you are free to do so. One optional thing you could do in here if you're building the small version of the farm is to have these blocks, these blocks next to the stems being farmland blocks. You place farmland blocks in here and you have strings on top of them, so that as a result they will produce more. Like those stems here at the borders, they can grow faster if they have more farmland next to them, but you don't want pumpkins growing on those, so you have string, so that if items pop in there, you can have hoppers underneath those to catch the items. So I usually don't care about this little bit of efficiency. If I want more efficiency, I can just expand this farm a little bit more. And instead I just place glass in here so items don't fly out. You might, if you prefer, you could also give it more space, like give it a one gap of space in here if you want to use the extra farmland trick. But yeah, that is all. So we're going to take a signal out from this chest, the output chest, and then we can feed this signal up here. And now you can have any kind of control that you want. You just have to subtract values from this comparator and put this in subtraction mode, and then you can control, or comparison mode would be even better in this case. And then you can control how much of this chest you need to see full in order to call it a full chest. All right. For instance, you can use a comparator here, and you can use a cake, which is really fun. Here to give it a signal strength of 14. You could also get a signal strength of 14 by powering this block and then sending the signal up there. Or you can just get rid of the comparator way and just do something like that. Yeah, there are many ways to do that, but make sure that this guy is not in subtraction mode. So here you can also use whatever you want. I'm going to just use a torch tower like this. And here we need to start placing a whole ton of repeaters. Okay, and the way we're going to do that is by just placing repeaters in on top of every block that you see in here. And where you see redstone dust, you can just place more blocks. I'm going to do this layer all in blue just to make your life easier, and that's all you need to do. Place those blocks and connect everything with repeaters. Alright, this is it. In the end, you don't need repeaters on this last line because they don't have redstone dust, and you are here just trying to power redstone dust, basically. Okay, let's fix this line because these also need to have strong power, so just extend this and have repeaters. Once again in here, solid blocks to cover all of those, and then you can do something like this. So place redstone dust on top of those. And here is how you're going to turn off your farm. Let me grab a lever in here. And for instance, if I power this guy, all of the pistons will extend. You can make sure that they are all extended in here. You can also check for any flaws that you can fix at this point. Then yeah, you can just turn your farm on again. This is very interesting. It shows how the farm, like one pumpkin grew exactly when the farm was getting powered. This is not going to be a problem. I explain how this fixes itself over time in the video in the link in the video description. Yeah, which is a video also as well. Okay, so now here we have a system that if this chest is completely full, I can break this block to get access to the chest. I actually got back all of my redstone dust that I had in there. Let's get rid of this. Let's make this completely full. And yeah, you can see it's not 100% full because maybe you're gonna have like a few stacks of other kind of item in here. And then yeah, the farm has turned off automatically. And once you get rid of some of the items, the farm will get powered automatically. So it's back on. So yeah, I don't really think that this is going to be a problem. So I think you can just have a lever in here and not have this in subtraction mode. Otherwise, this may be a problem. So from this chest, you can do pretty much your storage system in whatever way you prefer, as long as you know how to deal with chests in Minecraft 1.13, which is a little bit different. Okay, so I like to alternate hoppers like this, and yeah, let's see, everything should collect to this chest from now on. Yeah, and this should be your storage. The last detail that I've mentioned already, but I just want to emphasize, is that those blocks are going to move, so you can use either terracotta blocks in here, or furnaces, or obsidian, or pretty much anything that doesn't move, so your farm won't break. But in any other place of the farm, you can use pretty much any block. Like don't go crazy and place like a redstone block in here, for instance, because it's going to lock this guy in there. And if you want to replicate this farm, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to not be water efficient. So yeah, if you need to place more water, just place more water. It's not going to matter that much for a farm like this. It's going to produce you 2.4 thousand items every hour. Almost 20% of those are going to be pumpkins, and the rest of those are going to be melons. If you have to keep replicating the pattern, I think it's going to, like, instead of replicating the farm from here to here and on and on and on, you should replicate it from this to one block to the side, like this. Yeah, so then I think this will form a star with this other one. I haven't thought this through all the way, but it doesn't matter because, once again, in my first video I covered a lot of this, and there's a map download. Yeah, you guys let me know if you need a map download for this one too. I think it was all explained. You can, by the way, turn your farm off by having your lever in here as well. So yeah, that's how you do it. And I think that's it for this tutorial, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. You can leave a like to show me that you like this video. In any case, if you're watching this Cup Fun, thank you very much for the shout out once again. And yeah, hope to talk to you guys soon. So bye bye, guys.